My name is Sage Harper, 32 software engineer, the one who quietly turned code into a $120 million shield nobody knew existed. Sunset bled orange across the dock of our Hilton Head estate, salt air, thick steaks hissing on the grill. The table was set for 8 crystal linen, the usual show. Dad leaned back in his chair, voice flat as the ocean behind him. Your brother needs the Swiss villa. 5 million. Next month. I let the fork drop. Clink. Tatum didn't even look up from his phone, thumbs flying, already spending the money in his head. Mom's eyes welled on cue. Wren, my little sister, 22 and still believing every promise he made, nodded like it was charity. 5 million. For a house none of us would ever live in. I smiled dry sharp and slid my phone from my pocket. The banking app opened to a single screen, transfers, dates, amounts. Red. All red. Dad's knuckles whitened around his glass. Sage. Family doesn't negotiate. I tapped the screen once. The numbers stared back, unblinking. 2 hours later, the doorbell rang, and they brought the one gift my family never saw coming. If your family ever treated you like a walking ATM, hit like, smash subscribe, because the payback starts now. Tatum flicked on the projector. The wall lit up with a 3D render, snow-capped peaks, glass walls, infinity pool, spilling into Lake Geneva. He stood arms wide like he'd built it himself. This isn't just a house. It's legacy. Phase 1 of the Harper Alpine Retreat. Investors are lining up. I stared at the screen. 9 years flashed behind my eyes. First check, $50,000 when I was 23. Fresh off my Stanford diploma, pulling all-nighters at a defense contractor. Tatum needed seed money for his ride-share for private jets app. Dad slid the wire form across the kitchen table. He's got vision, Sage. You've got stability. Balance the family. The app died in 6 months. Servers shut down. Tatum blamed FAA regulations. Second, $200,000 for the organic energy drink line. He flew to Vegas for the launch party, came back with a leased Lamborghini. Drink never hit shelves. Supply chain issues, he said. Third, $800,000 for the AI-powered golf caddy. Prototype exploded on the course, literally. Battery fire. Tatum posted the video on Instagram with the caption, "Disruptive innovation." Insurance wouldn't cover it. Fourth, $1.2 million for the luxury glamping pods in Joshua Tree. Pods arrived. Permits didn't. Tatum sold them on Craigslist, pocketed the cash, bought a condo in Miami South Beach. Title in his name only. Fifth, $1.8 million for the crypto vineyard in Napa. Vines planted. NFT tokens minted. Market crashed. Vines uprooted for a parking lot. Tatum kept the wine cellar, shipped it to the Bahamas on his new Du Thuyen. Sixth, $2 million for the vertical farming towers in Detroit. Towers built. Crops failed. Tatum blamed blight. Sold the towers for scrap, used the money to charter the Du Thuyen for a month-long networking cruise in the Caribbean. Seventh, $3.9 million for the metaverse real estate platform. Platform launched. Users, 12. Tatum's avatar wore a $10,000 digital Rolex. Platform delisted. He kept the Rolex, converted it to a physical one. Total, $12 million. My dollars. Pulled from bonuses, stock options, side consulting gigs I never told anyone about. Every transfer labeled family loan. Every promise. This one's different. Mom set her fork down, eyes already glassy. Sage, honey. Tatum's been through so much. The stress. The depression. This villa, it's his fresh start. Wren leaned forward, phone in hand, scrolling Tatum's mood board. It's not even that much when you think about it. You're always working. You don't even use the money. Grandpa Calvin sat at the far end, silent, nursing his bourbon. His eyes met mine for a second, steady knowing. He'd seen the bank statements I emailed him last year. He never said a word to the others. Dad pushed a folder across the table. Inside, purchase agreement, wire instructions, a pen already uncapped. Sign here. We close next week. Tatum's architect flies in tomorrow. I didn't touch the pen. Tatum's voice sharpened. You owe me this, Sage. I took the risks. You sat in your cubicle. Cubicle. He thought I still worked the contractor job. Had no idea about the patents, the licensing deals, the offshore accounts I'd built while he burned through my savings. Mom's tears spilled. Please. For your brother, Wren added. It's just paper. You won't miss it. The projector looped the villa tour again. Helicopter pad, wine cave, private ski lift. Dad tapped the contract. Family acts. Sage. Now. I picked up the pen, held it over the line, and snapped it in half. Ink bled across the page like a wound. I set the broken pen down, ink pooling like evidence. No. Tatum's face twisted. No. That's it. Wren jumped in first chair, scraping. Sage, come on. Tatum's finally got something real. You can't just shut it down. Mom dabbed her eyes with the napkin. Think about what this means to him. To all of us. Dad's jaw tightened. You don't say no to family. I pulled my phone closer, thumb hovering over the share icon. Watch me. Wren rolled her eyes. You're being dramatic. It's $5 million. You hoard everything anyway. Tatum paced behind his chair. She thinks she's better because she codes all day. Newsflash, Sage. Your job doesn't make you the bank. Grandpa Calvin shifted in his seat, the old wood creaking under him. He hadn't touched his plate since the projector started. I opened the folder I'd prepared months ago. Photos first, the Swiss villa under construction cranes in the background, Tatum's signature on the preliminary contract scanned from his email. Next, Duthuyen invoices from the Bahamas shipyard, paid in full hull number, matching the one he bragged about last Christmas. Then the statements, page after page of outgoing wires, each labeled investment totaling the $12 million I'd already bled. I hit AirDrop. One by one their phones pinged. Dad's screen lit up. He glanced down, frowned. Mom's buzzed in her lap. She picked it up, breath-catching. Wren's chimed mid-sentence. What the Tatum snatched his device. Delete that. I didn't. Open them? Dad scrolled first. His finger stopped on a photo Tatum posing on the Duthuyen deck, champagne in hand, time-stamped 3 weeks after his farming tower collapsed. This was after Detroit Mom zoomed in on a statement. $1.8 million to a boat dealer. Wren flipped through the villa pics. You already put a deposit. Without telling us, Tatum lunged for my phone. I pulled back. Sit down. He didn't. Those are private. You hacked me, public records. Emails you forwarded to investors. Bank logs I subpoenaed quietly. I kept my voice level. Every dollar traced. Dad's hand slammed the table. The wine glass toppled red, spilling across the white cloth like a slash. Enough shards scattered. Mom gasped. Wren stared at her screen, face paling. You bought the condo with the glamping money. I thought that was your bonus. Tatum pointed at me. She's lying. Twisting things. I swiped to the next file, shell company registration in the Caymans. Tatum listed as director, villa, title pending transfer. Explain this. Mom whispered. Tatum. He opened his mouth, closed it. Grandpa Calvin cleared his throat once. Everyone froze. He looked straight at me, gave a single slow nod, approval, quiet and final. No words needed. Dad noticed. Grandpa leaned back, folding his arms. He said nothing. Wren set her phone face down. I posted about the Duthuyen trip. My followers thought it was sponsorship. Tatum's voice rose. This is sabotage. She's jealous. I locked my screen. Jealous of what bankruptcy filings you hid assets in Liechtenstein. Mom reached for Dad's arm. Bob, say something. He stared at the broken glass, then at me. You planned this. 3 years. I stood. Every receipt. Every lie. Wren's eyes darted between us. Sage, if this is true. It is. Tatum grabbed his jacket. I don't need this. Dad's fist clenched. Sit. He didn't. Grandpa Calvin's nod lingered in my peripheral, solid, unwavering. The air thickened, waiting for the next crack. The doorbell cut through the tension. Mom froze mid-reach. Dad's head snapped toward the entry hall. Wren clutched her phone like a lifeline. I checked my watch. Exactly 2 hours since the last AirDrop notification. Tatum muttered, "Ignore it. Delivery guy." Grandpa Calvin rose slowly, steady on his cane. "I'll get it." He disappeared down the corridor. Voices echoed low, official. Footsteps multiplied. Dad stood. "Who's here?" The dining room doors swung open. 2 uniformed officers from Beaufort County stepped in, first badges glinting under the chandelier. Behind them, a man in plain clothes held up a tablet. "Evening. Detective Adler, local PD. This is a coordinated action." Mom's hand flew to her chest. "What action?" Adler nodded to the tablet. A video feed popped up on the large screen where Tatum's villa render had been. A woman in a sharp suit appeared, Interpol badge visible. Agent Zane, Interpol Financial Crimes Unit, calling from Geneva office. Her accent crisp, eyes scanning the room. "We have an active trace on assets linked to Harper family accounts." Tatum backed up a step. "This is harassment." Zane ignored him. The property in question, Alpine Villa, Canton of Valais title, routed through a Cayman shell company, Harper Global Holdings Limited. Beneficial owner, Tatum Harper. Dad's face drained. "That's impossible. We just discussed it tonight. We monitored the preliminary contract upload earlier this evening," Zane continued. "Matched it to patterns from prior transfers. 12 separate wires originating from U.S. accounts under Sage Harper's name." Wren whispered Sage. I stayed seated. "Keep going." Adler pulled a document from his folder. "We have a federal warrant for immediate search of the premises, including all electronic devices, financial records, and vehicles registered to residents." Mom shook her head. "Search for what? Evidence of misused funds across international borders," Adler said. "Starting with the Du Tuyen docked at your private slip, purchased 18 months ago, same week a $2 million transfer cleared." Tatum's eyes darted to the windows overlooking the water. The boatlights twinkled innocently. Zane leaned closer to the camera. "We've frozen the Cayman entity. Villa deposit reversed as of 1 hour ago. Local authorities will secure physical proof." Dad rounded on me. "You called them, filed the report last quarter," I said. Quietly, with everything attached. Grandpa Calvin returned to his seat, expression unreadable. He placed his phone on the table screen, showing an email confirmation from my lawyer. Adler signaled his partner. "Officers will begin in the office upstairs. Everyone remain here." Mom sank into her chair. "Bob, do something." Dad pulled out his own phone, thumbs flying. "I'll get our attorney on the line." "Lines monitored." Zane interjected. "Any attempt to move assets now triggers additional holds." Wren scrolled frantically. "My posts. The boat tags. They'll see everything." Tatum edged toward the side door. "This is a mistake. I'll clear it up tomorrow." Adler blocked the path. "Nobody leaves until inventory's logged." Zane addressed me directly. "Miss Harper, your cooperation packet arrived this afternoon. Comprehensive. We'll need you at the Charleston field office in the morning for signatures." "Scheduled for 9, I replied. Dad slammed his phone down. "You went behind our backs." "Behind the lies," I corrected. Grandpa Calvin poured himself another bourbon, hands steady. He raised the glass slightly in my direction, subtle toast. Adler handed me a copy of the warrant. Premises include the guest house and dock. Tech team en route for device imaging. Mom's voice cracked. "How long until complete?" Adler said. "Could be hours." Tatum paced again, sweat beading. "They can't just take everything." "They can," Zane said. "And they will. Starting with the shell company director's laptop, yours, Mr. Harper." An officer unplugged the projector, bagged Tatum's computer. Wren hugged her knees. "What happens now?" Adler began directing traffic. Living room clear for statements, one at a time. Zane signed off. Geneva out. Updates via secure channel. The screen went black. Officers fanned out. Drawers opened upstairs. Boots on hardwood. Dad stared at the warrant copy. This ends us. I folded my arms. It ends the draining. Grandpa Calvin sipped his drink, eyes on the chaos, calm amid the storm. Tatum bolted for the dock. He shoved past an officer cataloging the wine cellar's shoes, slapping wet wood toward the boat's slip. Salt wind whipped his shirt. Grandpa Calvin moved faster than anyone expected. He stepped through the back door, cane planted firm, blocking the rear exit to the boathouse. Not tonight, son. Tatum skidded. Out of my way, old man. Grandpa didn't budge. You'll face what's coming. An officer caught up hand on Tatum's shoulder. Back inside. He jerked free, eyes wild. I need air. Dad stormed after him. Get in here. Mom trailed, wringing her hands. Tatum, listen to your father. Wren followed last, barefoot on the planks, phone flashlight cutting the dark. I stayed on the patio, pulled up a new app bank portal for the Liechtenstein account I discovered 6 months back. $8 million parked in a numbered entity, dividends rolling in quarterly. Officers herded us into the living room. Techs already mirrored hard drives upstairs. Tatum paced the rug. This is overkill. One bad investment. I turned my laptop so everyone saw. Bad try hidden. The screen showed the account overview balance: 8 million, even inflows from Shell dividends, outflows to personal luxury vendors. Dad leaned in. Where's that from? Liechtenstein Private Bank, I said. Opened 18 months ago. Same week you filed Chapter 7, Tatum. He stopped pacing. You're bluffing. Bankruptcy court sealed it. I unsealed it. I clicked to the petition PDF. Schedule D, 0 assets disclosed. Schedule E, creditors wiped clean. Mom sank onto the couch. Chapter 7. You told us the Vineyard Partners absorbed the loss. Wren's flashlight beam shook. You said you were rebuilding credit? Tatum rubbed his neck. It was strategic. Clean slate. Grandpa Calvin lowered himself into an armchair. Clean for who? I scrolled to transaction history. $300,000 to a Miami jeweler last spring. $250,000 to a Monaco rental agency. $400,000 wired to the villa architect, deposit separate from tonight's ask. Dad's voice cracked. You were broke on paper, Tatum snapped. Off paper, thriving. Wren pulled a key fob from her pocket, the matte black one for the Porsche he'd gifted her birthday. She stared at it, then at the screen. This paid for my car down payment, I confirmed. Title in your name to avoid liens. Her fingers opened. The fob clattered on the coffee table. Tatum lunged for it. An officer intercepted. Mom whispered. How many lies? Enough, I said. 8 million hidden while begging 5 more. Grandpa Calvin tapped his cane once. Boy always took the easy path. Tatum glared. Easy, I networked. Hustled. Hustled my savings? I shot back. Wren backed toward the door. I drove that car everywhere. Posted it. Dad rubbed his temples. The boat's in evidence now. Adler entered from the hall, notebook in hand. Dutuyen secured. VIN matches, transfer records. Tatum deflated against the wall. I can explain. Save it for the interview, Adler said. Mom reached for Wren. Baby, come here. Wren shook her off. No. I closed the laptop. That account funds the Villa Shell. Interpol flagged it hours ago. Grandpa Calvin nodded approval again, slower this time. Tatum slid down the wall, sitting on the floor. I thought I could flip it. Pay everyone back triple. Dad turned away. You gambled with blood money. Wren picked up the fob, hurled it at Tatum's feet. Take it back. He didn't move. Officers resumed packing boxes, passports, flash drives, a safe combination scribbled on a napkin. Mom buried her face in a cushion. Grandpa Calvin watched the scene, bourbon forgotten. The room smelled of salt and defeat. Morning light hit the driveway. I pulled out of the estate gate, tires crunching gravel still scattered with evidence markers. The drive to Charleston took 45 minutes interstate empty radio off. Agent Zane met me in the lobby of the Interpol satellite office, a nondescript building near the port. She led me past security to a conference room with sealed boxes from last night's haul. "Coffee?" she asked. "Black." We sat. She slid a thick binder across the table. "Your packet cross-referenced perfectly. We pulled overnight feeds from Liechtenstein." I flipped to the first tab villa ownership docs. My pen hovered over the signature line for the formal statement. Zane pointed to a highlighted section. Co-owner listed Robert Harper. Signed digitally 2 weeks ago. Dad's name stared back in bold. I exhaled slow. He knew the deposit route. "Joint liability," Zane said. "Shell company bylaws required dual approval for transfers over $1 million. I initialed the page. He pushed the contract last night like it was fresh. "Pattern fits," she replied. "We see parents shielding adult children in asset hides." Next tab email chain between Dad and the Swiss realtor. Subject family legacy property. Body assurances the funds were clean family capital. I signed the witness form. Zane closed the binder. "This locks the chain. Tatum's primary but your father enabled." My phone vibrated on the table, Mom's name flashing. I let it ring out. Voicemail pinged immediately. I played on speaker. "Sage honey, please pick up. Your dad's a wreck. The lawyers say if you retract they'll drop charges. We can fix this as a family. I'm begging you." Zane raised an eyebrow. I deleted the message, opened settings, blocked the number. Screen confirmed contact removed. "Done," I said. Zane nodded approval. "Smart. Pressure will mount." Another vibration, unknown number. I declined. We moved to asset freeze summaries. Duthuian valuation $2.1 million. Miami condo equity $900,000. Liechtenstein balance $8 million intact. Seized at dawn, Zane confirmed. Liquidation starts next week. I signed the forfeiture consent for my original transfers, $12 million recovered in full. Timeline, I asked. Indictment within 30 days. Trial in 6 to 9 months. My phone rang again, this time Grandpa Calvin's landline. I answered. "Hey." His voice steady, gravelly. "You did right, kid." Relief washed over me. "Thanks. Saw the trucks leave at 5 a.m. House feels empty. Stay safe. Always." He paused. "Proud of you." "Always was." I swallowed hard. "Means everything. Call when it's over." Click. Zane gathered the files. "We'll courier copies to your attorney." I stood. "Anything else, stay reachable. Subpoenas for testimony." "Understood." She walked me to the elevator. "Families fracture under this. You held the line." "Had to." Outside, the sun climbed higher over the harbor. I slid into my car, engine humming. One more vibration. Wren's number. Text. "I'm sorry. Deleted all posts." I replied. "Take care." Then powered off. The road back stretched quiet. 10 months later, federal courthouse steps. Reporters clustered behind barriers, cameras flashing as the verdict echoed from inside. I stood at the railing, wind off the Cooper River tugging my coat. Tatum emerged in cuffs, orange jumpsuit stark against marble. The judge's words replayed in my head: 14 years federal prison, no parole for financial crimes spanning borders. He scanned the crowd, eyes locking on me. No plea this time, just defeat. Dad followed, escorted by marshals. The Hilton Head estate sold at auction last month to cover restitution. Title transferred to a developer. Bulldozers already cleared the dock. Mom waited on a bench, uniform polo from the local grocery store peeking under her jacket. Cashier shift started at noon. She'd taken the bus downtown. Wren stood apart, arms crossed, no phone in sight. Inside the lobby, post-sentencing, the prosecutor shook my hand. "Your testimony sealed it. Co-conspirator charge stuck on your father." Dad avoided my gaze, signing release forms for personal effects. Tatum shuffled closer, guards flanking. "You happy now, relieved?" I said. He snorted. 14 years for ambition, for theft, I corrected. Mom approached, eyes red. Sage, can we talk? I stepped back. Nothing left. She clutched a plastic bag of Tatum's belongings. He's still your brother. Was. Wren moved in. I cut him off. Blocked everywhere. Dad muttered, this family's ruined. You ruined it. Wren shot back. The marshals led Tatum away. He didn't look back. Outside, a reporter shouted Miss Harper comment on the sentence no. Mom boarded the bus alone. Dad hailed a rideshare to a motel. Wren pulled out her tablet. Read this. Email draft subject, I'm sorry. Body detailed her role promoting his ventures, accepting gifts, ignoring red flags. She'd attached screenshots of deleted posts, influencer disclosures retracted. I sent it to the probation office, she said. Community service starts next week. I nodded. Good. She hugged me quick. I'm moving to Seattle, clean break, safe travels. She walked off without glancing at the parents. Dad's rideshare pulled up. He paused at the door. The house proceeds after fees barely cover lawyers. Should have thought sooner. He climbed in, window up. Mom's bus departed. The steps emptied. I drove south. Radio news cycling, the case Harper siblings clash ends in landmark conviction. My phone buzzed. Lawyer text, restitution wired. 12 million plus interest. Account balanced. Wren's final message arrived. No more contact with him. Ever. Deleted thread. Courthouse faded in the mirror.